Hey y'all, it's Melissa with Update East Texas, and we are back here with some special guests that I want to introduce to you, Ben and Candy Turney with Mission Partner Services. And this is really unique. Actually, Candy had reached out to us after she saw a post about VAST, which is Veterans Are Better Together, Veterans Are Stronger Together. I can't ever get it right. But that one, and she's like, wait a minute, like we have a really cool mission too, and would you be interested in sharing it? And we took a look and we said, absolutely, because this is Mission Partner Services is tackling an area of everyone's lives. And so let's hear about it. What is Mission Partner Services?
Well, Mission Partner Services is the mental health treatment that you need by the folks that you trust. You know, we have been in the business of mental health for several years myself, but Mission Partner Services just opened up in August of 2020, kind of in the midst of all the COVID stuff. So what we do is we provide a place for folks to come in, get some education, some structure, some support, to kind of learn how to deal with those stressors that folks get exposed to on a day-to-day basis, and it's really just kind of gotten them down.
So, and you say stressors, which that's probably a good word, but I think the world knows them as kind of some, like, they're triggers, right? Things that happen in our lives that maybe we didn't realize had an impact and just arise, or as we're doing day-to-day life, something happens, a circumstance comes and just hits us in the face, and we don't know how to deal. We've never been taught how to deal with it.
Exactly. It can be anything from trauma, something so major as, you know, a violent crime, or it can be anything from that to the loss of a loved one, the loss of a job, going through a hard time with your kids, even if they're adult children, you know, going through a hard time, a medical diagnosis that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
Now you have to deal with it. Or medical diagnosis of a loved one that you didn't expect, and now you have to deal with it. There's a lot of stressors, a lot of triggers that jump up and hit you in the face, and you need help to go through those. Or it could be that everything is kind of piled on you for so long, you don't know how to sort it out, and you need a little extra assistance to get through those times and figure out what to do and what not to do, and get back to your normal life.
Yeah, I love this. When I was in banking, gosh, way back now, like 20 years ago, I was in actually a robbery. And that happened, and it was 6 guys. They had guns. They came blazing in a shift change. And at the time, I was just like, you just react to it, and then you don't really understand the impact. But then, as time went on, and we were going through like court hearings and stuff, things started to shift for me. And then, like, I just had these random fears of things happening. Right. And if there was something like Mission Partner Services at that time where I lived, that would have been very helpful for me, because that was a struggle. You know, going back to work every day.
Exactly. Or hearing a certain noise behind you that kind of gets that
or
adrenaline
like
going again.
Voice. Yeah.
Exactly.
We've actually had a couple of folks that we've treated for that exact same thing. And as you may have experienced, going grocery shopping is a little difficult. Going out at night, going out by yourself. And there's all these things that you don't realize that you just kind of do on a day-to-day basis. But then you have this slap in the face, and normality of life just kind of slows down or stops sometimes.
Yeah.
And so you need something, and you need somebody to kind of guide you through that, and to support you through that, and to tell you kind of not necessarily what to do, but let you use your own abilities to get back to that functioning.
Yeah,
that's what you need.
Absolutely. So when someone does have a situation that maybe arises in their life or a circumstance, and they find themselves in a situation where they don't really need like emergency mental health, or they don't need like a long-term mental health like scenario, they just need some right now, like how do I deal with it now and moving forward. What does that look like for you guys? Do they call? Do they pop in? How does that play out?
Well, it's really easy. The easiest thing to do is to call, because what we have to do is we have to have folks come in and we do an assessment. Sits down with our therapist, because we have to make sure that we're treating the right person for the right reasons. We have to make sure that things are on the up and up.
Yeah, for
sure. We have to. There's clinical criteria is the best phrase for it. especially if we're working with insurance companies. We have to give certain criteria to make sure that this is the right level of care for them.
Okay.
So people can call or email, and we can get them in usually either the next day or within a couple of days. Take about an hour, hour and a half assessment, and then they start usually the next treatment day if possible.
Okay.
So it's pretty simple.
Yeah, so they can call 903-437-4467 or admin@missionpartnerservices.com. Or they can check the website, go to the contact us, and that's where the email will end up going.
Okay. Great. And so, you guys started this really officially opened in August. What was the passion behind a mission like this?
August 2020, it'll be 2 years
August
this
2020.
August, yeah.
I still feel like it's 2020 sometimes. We missed a whole year. Like, I'm behind.
It's the year that didn't even exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I worked at a local psychiatric facility since 2001.
Okay.
And I'd worked in a program just like this since 2002. So for 18 years, I got to witness and see and be a part of a treatment team of people that got better every week. And that facility ended up closing, and I realized that that level of care is way too important.
Yeah.
It's way too necessary. It's way too needed for this area, because unfortunately East Texas is kind of dry in some mental health rights.
Yeah.
You don't have the big things like you do in Dallas and Houston, where you have lots of resources. And so I wanted to continue that service. I wanted to continue that ability for folks to come in and work through their stuff. And so the therapist that I work with, I mean, she's been doing it for 15 years. I did it for 18 years. The other therapists that can work along with us, I mean, they've got a decade plus under their belts. So we know what works. We know how to do it, and we have a place to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we have 2 new things coming up.
Okay.
Well, actually 3 new things coming up probably in the next few months, 2 months, something like that. We're just in the beginning negotiations, I guess, with a very well-known nurse practitioner for the East Texas area that does medication management.
Awesome.
So we're going to hopefully partner with him in his offices to provide medication management from our office for not only our patients, but for the Tyler and East Texas area. So now they have another outlet for medication management resources. We also are thinking of possibly partnering with a local adolescent counselor. She's an LPC. LCSW, licensed clinical social worker, and she predominantly works with adolescents. So this same program can be used for adolescents, which would be age groups
13 to 17.
Okay.
Yeah, and so right now our program starts at 18 and up. So 13 to 17 would have access at least for the summer until we can gauge and see what's going on. But they're out of school, they'd be able to meet at our office. Same group therapy aspect of it, which some people are worried about, they get scared of, but it's amazing to see the support that comes out of it. People get to be friendly and supportive and say, hey, it's okay, you went through that, we're all here for some reason, and this is how we're going to work through it. Well, we can take that same training and support aspect and put it toward adolescents. So we're going to try that for the summer. And then last but not least, and probably the most exciting, you can smile too, is that we've recently started a nonprofit.
Oh, cool.
So if someone wants to make a donation and have a tax-deductible donation made, they can do that, and then it can go straight toward. We're hoping to partner with several therapists, not only the therapists in our office, but other therapists around East Texas. So if you say you make a donation, you can say, I want to provide a scholarship for this certain person. Or you can say, I want to provide a scholarship for whoever needs it.
That's cool.
And so not only will you get the tax write-off, but your dollars will stay literally right now in Tyler. But at some point we hope to, keep it in the East Texas area. So people could come and see therapists that we actually partner with, and they would bill Mission Partner Services, or the nonprofit is Outlook 180. So they would actually send a bill to Outlook 180, and Outlook 180 would, work with them to contract and set negotiated rates just like everyone else does.
Yeah.
And then we would actually pay for that person's services.
That's cool.
So hopefully we just got,
I love that.
the IRS just gave us like permission for that on like the 14th, like April 14th.
Yeah. So I'm connecting the
we're
dots now
excited.
because I was at your website and I was like, I
Yeah.
wonder what that is. But
Yeah.
now I know.
That's
great. Yeah.
Now we
Very
need to
cool.
go back in and do all the updates. Website, Facebook, Instagram,
That is,
LinkedIn.
those
all
are
of
very
those.
exciting things.
Yes.
I love that, give a scholarship to someone that you know, and like that's really cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's where we're hoping that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. Okay, so I do want to ask though, because you and I before we got on camera, we were kind of talking about how mental health has
Right.
it's like got a stigma.
Mhm.
So in your experience, like let's kind of like talk to me about what those stigmas are and like why are people, like you said, getting in a group. Like we know that when you get in a group of people and you are with other people that have experienced something of this, like then you're not alone anymore, right? And like you
Exactly.
can be more free and open.
Exactly.
But so what kind of stigmas are out there that you guys have experienced?
Well, if you talk about it, it's more real.
Yes.
And then if you talk about depression, then you're weak. So you hear so many folks pull yourself up by your bootstraps and, cliches like that. And when you really start to address some of these things, then, that those stressors, issues are there. But whenever you really start talking about it, then it really starts to become more and more real. And those emotions come up. It's hard to cry. It's hard to get mad, because you're afraid that you're going to disappoint somebody or you're going to get somebody in trouble. You're going to get yourself in trouble. Your boss is going to hear about it.
Or you're going to spill a family secret nobody's supposed to know about. Or, lots of
And
things.
and so the stigma is what we put on ourselves. And kind of, even as society, even though everybody has problems,
Yeah, it's true.
you can't live on this earth and not have a problem. But
Yeah.
being able to address it and deal with it, that's kind of a different thing. But so the stigmas are really those innate boundaries that we've set on ourselves that prevent us from getting better. And the beauty of our group process is, you may have a 70-year-old woman that was sexually abused as a kid,
Yeah.
13, 14, and then you have a 19, 20-year-old that had just got sexually abused. And that older person can mentor the younger one.
Yeah.
And it happens. And it's fun to watch.
You have people that become friendly within the group that you never would have thought would become friends. Like, you might have someone that is a construction worker, and they're in there with someone who's a banker or has been in like a really, pristine business setting for so long. And here, that person's talking to this construction worker like they're old friends.
Yeah.
Because not only do they know their backgrounds, but they're going through these same lessons on what they should do and how they should handle this. And this is what a boundary looks like. This is a healthy boundary. This is not a healthy boundary.
Yeah.
And they start realizing, oh, I need to work on this. But a lot of times what happens is they see something in someone else and they recognize it in him before they ever recognize it in themselves.
Yeah.
And then slowly that realization comes around, but they're there to support each other through the process.
Yeah.
So it's healthy. It's good.
They say that death levels the playing field, but so does mental health.
Yeah. That's actually a good point. Yeah.
So, before the death happens. But like she said, we've had people from all tiers. You've got rich and poor and married and unmarried and various races, and, it's okay.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people don't realize that it can be okay. And that's the hard part, is they don't have to hold on to all this so much that they can learn how to deal with it. And that's the beauty of the program, is because you're looking at Monday, Tuesday, Thursday from 9 to 12. You're looking at 9 hours of treatment a week. And part of that is it teaches you how to do therapy long term. So you come to our program 4 or 5 weeks, well, you've learned about boundaries, you've learned about coping strategies, you've learned about anxiety. So you finish up with our program, you get plugged in with an individual counselor or therapist, and you can go in and say, okay, today I want to talk about this because I got a touch of it whenever I was in the program. Now I really want to delve into it. And so it teaches them how to really get the most out of their life.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't come back because they're doing better.
Right.
I mean, really, in my experience, the ones that come back are the ones that really struggle, or sometimes the ones that quit their therapy.
Yeah.
And so, they need a refresher course. But after a couple of weeks, they're like, okay, I realized. So it's good because that's part of that education.
Yeah.
On top of learning how to live, you learn how to live your life better.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes we're just, as humans, we think we can just do it, right? Like, I learned this one thing, right? And I can do it now with that one thing, but there's 10 things you have to learn in order to really do it well, And so sometimes that just
It's kind of like me watching the videos where someone makes a beautiful cake, and I'm like, oh, I got it. I can do this. No problem. I make it, and it's a Pinterosity. It's a Pinterest fail. It's the same way with this. It's like we think we can get through life on our own. We don't need help.
Yeah.
Well, that's normally the person that once they get help, they're like, oh my gosh, my life is so much better. I can deal with this, and I can deal with this. And when this comes up, I know what to do now versus before I would just freak out or I didn't deal with it at all.
Yeah.
And now I know what to do and how to do it. It makes their life better.
But that's another beauty of the program is so you come in on Monday, you cover a topic, you get to go home or go to work or go to school, and you get back into those stressors.
Yep.
And maybe you tried to use that coping skill and it didn't work. Well, guess what? You come back on Tuesday and you say, hey, that didn't work. What do I do? So you get to talk about it and you get some reinforcement. You get to learn something else. You go back to work, you go back to school, you go back to your family, and you get to try it again. And so it's a practice every day. But that's the beauty of it is you get to come in, but you still have a life. You're not confined to a locked unit for 2 weeks. But you also don't have to wait another week or 2 weeks before you have a next follow-up appointment.
Right.
Because you've got it bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. See, it's like real life. It's like you're bringing real life situations back every single day to, this is what was a victory and this is what wasn't a victory.
That's right.
And it's not just you. Someone else may be going through the same thing and might need to say or hear the same instruction on, hey, well, this is how if that comes up again, what's a better way you can handle it? Well, maybe like this, maybe like this, maybe like. And so you're not going to be the only one in the group that needs to hear that.
Yeah.
You may be the only one that brings it up, but you're not the only one that needs to hear it. So.
Yeah, for sure. I had a wise person in my life tell me that sometimes things happen, situations occur, not just for yourself, but for the other people watching, so that, y'all could, work it out or whatever. So, okay, so give me some ideas of, if a person found themselves in a situation where they're saying, I don't know if I need help. I know that I'm struggling, but I don't know if I need help. They're kind of like on the fence of like, do I call?
If you're on the fence, you need help.
Okay, so
if you think you need help, you do.
Okay, so tell them if they're watching, encourage them, what should they do? If they're feeling that way, what should they do?
If you're having any thoughts of anxiety, depression, maybe some suicidal thoughts, maybe not necessarily that you're going to act on them, but sometimes if you feel like you're going to be better off if you weren't here, if you have those experiences where maybe you're having difficulty going to the store, driving, taking care of yourself, you're only bathing once a week, you're not sleeping very well, or maybe you're sleeping too much, or you're overeating, or you're not eating at all, you feel kind of blue, kind of down in the dumps, you haven't really had an interest in anything. Maybe you used to read and now you can't pick up a book and read a paragraph and understand what it says, so you just put it down. Or maybe you like sports and you just kind of quit doing that. It's just a loss of interest in usual activities, a lack of motivation. You're calling in sick to work 2 or 3 times a week. Just some of those things that are just not right, or are just not who you want to be. Well, the thing is, ask a professional, ask an expert. And that's what we do, is we provide that place where you can come in. And that's part of that initial assessment that we do, is you sit down with somebody and you talk and you get it figured out. And you give us an opportunity to help you. And you give yourself an opportunity to help yourself. So really just kind of looking at your life and going, something's not right. You know, I'm not happy. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the time that you want to kind of think about doing something a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely call. That's the fastest and easiest way, or you can go to the website and click the link to contact
Exactly.
us.
And if they call, they'll talk to either me or to Ben. And if they get me, then I say, hold on, let me get Ben. he's the pro, not me. So they will kind of give us a little scenario of, hey, this is what's happening, this is what I'm going through. And there are times where we're not the best fit for it. We're not the best fit for that situation. But he's been in this business, I hate to call it that, but he's been in, it has these resources long enough that he says, hey, you know, who's a good counselor for that is so-and-so.
Yeah.
Let me give you their phone number, call them. Or, you know, someone calls and says, I need help for my child. Well, our cutoff is 18. So they may say, I have a 10-year-old that needs it. And he can say, oh, you know who's good with small children? Is this person. And so we have 3 therapists in our office that actively see patients individually. And then we have Lauren Burgess, who she runs our intensive outpatient treatment program. So if one of our therapists isn't a good fit for you, or if they don't have availability, then we know about it and we can get you in contact with who you actually need to speak with quickly.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, so you're not wasting time like having to get referral
Exactly.
after referral after referral after referral
Right.
to get to, you know, taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So.
And we can either give you 1 or 2 or 3 people that might be better equipped than we are. So it helps.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to share about Missions Partner Services before we put all your fun Facebook and email and all that out there?
Well, people have asked us why we call it Mission Partner Services.
Okay.
Well, services because we provide a service for the community. Partners because we're partnering with not only you in your treatment, but we're partnering with other therapists to bring the services. And then mission because our mission is to get you better, to get you back to where you need to be in life.
Yeah, for sure.
And the thing is, again, it doesn't really matter your economic status. It doesn't really matter your race. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter any of that. You know, the key is what do you want out of life? I mean, we're only given X number of days, so you might as well enjoy the time that you're here. You know, just kind of a quick story.
Yeah.
Whenever I first started, we had a young lady that came in. She was just referred by her psychiatrist for just kind of generalized anxiety and depression. She just wasn't doing very well. Well, as we sat down with her, we learned she was taking 11 showers a day. In a 24. So she would wake up, she'd feel dirty.
Yeah.
She'd take a shower, wash her sheets, wash her clothes. Well, after she did laundry, she was dirty again. So I mean, the process was continuous while she was awake. And so, I mean, that was kind of her focus was, okay, I got to do something besides take 11 showers a day. And so she thought she was the problem. Well, come to find out, her husband was having an affair. And so whenever they slept in the bed together, she felt dirty.
Oh, wow.
And she also had a sexual abuse history. So that worsened it even more.
Yeah.
So after a few weeks of being able to talk about things, sharing things, learning how to address those things, she got better. And in just a matter of weeks, and it wasn't over months or years. I mean, in a matter of weeks, she was like, okay, I know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
You know, and they started getting some marital therapy. I don't know what happened after that, but I know she was better.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, folks may not have that extreme, but that's what you kind of look for is doing those behaviors that aren't very healthy.
Yeah.
And if you want to get better, there's an opportunity to get better.
Yeah. And she probably was trying to deal with all of everything on her own, and that was just the...
And she didn't even realize what was causing the behavior.
Yeah, that was just the effects of trying to carry the burden alone.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
That's a good story. So where can they find you? Facebook?
We're on Facebook under Mission Partner Services.
Okay.
We're on LinkedIn
Okay.
under Mission Partner Services. Website is missionpartnerservices.com.
Okay.
Phone number is 903-437-4467. They're welcome to call, email, Facebook message, whatever they feel comfortable with. We'll do it.
Okay, great.
But even if you're a provider, if you're like a primary care physician in the area, I know you got some folks that's struggling.
Yeah.
You can give us a call, and we will call the patient. They don't have to call. If you think that they're going to be apprehensive, we will call them if you let us know about them. Same thing if you've gone to the ER or the emergency room for something along these lines and they sent you home, give us a call. If you're an ER provider, call us. We'll get in contact with them. We can take insurance. We have a good self-pay rate. We'll work with you financially. We want you to get the help.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you get the help.
Yes, please make sure you get the help. So before we go, I want everyone to know a little bit about you guys in East Texas and how you fit in. But I wanted to make sure that we got, we really talked about the mental health stigma and the benefits that you guys offer up front, because I think that's really important. But I also am a big advocate for folks that are moving from all over Tyler and people who live here too, that just know, people who are in East Texas now. So how did you guys end up in East Texas? Were you born here? Were you?
Well, I was actually born in Dallas. We moved
Okay.
to Brownsboro, which is 30 miles from here, not too far. Graduated high school from there and moved to Tyler to go to TJC. I'm going to talk about you.
Oh. Well, I was born in Houston. My father's family was from there. My mother's family was from Rusk, which is just south of here. They decided that they wanted country life. And so we moved to Rusk whenever I was 7. And then I graduated from Rusk High School and then started TJC to be on the Patchy Punch drum line. And
Were you on that? Were you?
I was. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's kind of how we met. Our
Oh.
apartments actually were across the parking lot from each other.
Okay.
And we had a mutual friend that I saw one evening in the parking lot, and he was like, "Hey, come over. I want you to meet these people." And I was like, "No." I went anyway, and that was the first night we met.
Yep.
So, yeah, we've been together ever since. So,
Yep.
almost 30 years together, and married 27 this
27 this year.
year in November.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, got 3 kids, 3 girls. Whew.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 in their 20s and 1 that's about to turn 14. So
Okay.
that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have 1 girl,
Oh, do you?
and that's enough. I love her to pieces, but that's enough. But we have 4 boys, so
Oh, gosh.
yeah. But it's okay because I don't know. It's night and day. It
Well,
just is.
God knew what He was doing by giving us girls, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do with a boy. I mean, other than him, I don't know any of that boy stuff.
Me either.
So I mean, our girls can throw a football like nobody's business.
That's
So and
awesome.
that's because of him. So that's
That's
nice.
good.
So,
Yeah, I think that's a good lesson. The spiral, like as a girl, like if you can get out there and throw a spiral with the boys,
Then
it's
you're
worth
good.
it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so what brought us to Mission Partner Services was his degree is in psychology. Mine was in communications and business. And that was a long time ago. Those were bachelors. And then I ended up getting a master's and MBA a couple of years ago. And I've been working in healthcare. Well, I got laid off because of COVID. He got laid off because of COVID. And so when he and the therapist were talking about, having someplace to keep this program going,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, the back end of it. I know the front end of it. Oh, gosh, I think we have to do this.
Yeah.
So I guess it was a God thing, because it all just fell into place. Just exactly. We found the furniture we needed at the price we needed. We found the office we needed at the right price point and a good location, and it just all went from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is really, really cool. So, I mean, you guys have lived here, though, for how many years together? Like
1990 is whenever I moved here.
1990. So, yeah. So you guys are like, you can just call yourself East Texans now.
Definitely.
So what are a couple places that you guys can plug that you love going in East Texas?
We really like Athena's Greek restaurant.
Uh-huh.
You know, our 14-year-old,
Very good.
13-year-old daughter, she's like, can we go to Athena's?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we go. I mean, that's a place that we really enjoy. And then if you like barbecue, Poke and Eye is a really good barbecue
Very good
place.
barbecue.
So
I'll have to try that. I'll try that. Yeah.
either one of those
Out
places.
going
is really
almost toward Chapel Hill,
Okay.
not too far out. And then they have a food truck that's around town.
Oh,
also.
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, those are great places. And we'll be sure to let them know that you guys said those are our favorites. But we appreciate you guys coming on and sharing really mission partner services for all the aspects of it. The mission of getting better, the partnering with the community and therapists, and then providing a service that sometimes is a little, cliche, out there. And we just want to make sure people know that it's a safe place.
Yep.
So we're so thankful for you guys, and we will see you next time on Update East Texas. And don't forget to like and share their Facebook page, and be sure to share the video so someone who you might know may be going through something that they are struggling with and need the Mission Partner services for themselves. So if you see someone, or you know someone, or you just see someone's behaviors are a little bit different, maybe a best friend, a parent, a sibling, anything like that, be sure to share this program with them and this video so they can get the help they need. Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. See you later.
Bye.